What's up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Nick? Mr. Tony? Who's Mr. Tony? What's up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're all doing good. It's actually crazy. I mean, it's 11:11. Isn't that kind of crazy? But thanks for being here. Let me say hello to some of the new joiners. Gotta shout out the first ones in the chat. I mean, if you're lurking, that's okay too. Nothing wrong with that. But the first people in the chat, we had Soli coming in first. Great YouTuber right there. Gory Tiger. What's up, Gory? Just Nick coming in as well. What's up, Nick? Hope you're doing well, man. But yeah, I forgot to put the stream on 1440p. Damn it. So it's gonna be on 1080p. Just slightly less quality, but that's okay, you know? Yeah, the Jason X shirt. Yeah, this one is nice. This one is nice. I think this is Gutter Garbs, I'm pretty sure, but it's nice. I mean, you've got you got that going on, you know, the classic kill. You got the early Jason going on right there, which I actually think is an underrated look for the character. Kane Hodder rocking that. I actually like that mask a lot. And then you got Uber Jason. Evil gets an upgrade. Yeah, Gutter Garbs. I mean, Gutter Garbs, unmatched. Always great stuff over there. But what was I saying? Yeah. Say hello to some more people. Hi Stimmus. What's up, Hi Stimmus? 1 through 3 is peak Child's Play. Bride is fun. And the rest of the series goes to shit. Well, not to spoil too much, but I appreciate your comments there. I may or may not agree with a lot of what you just said. But yeah, 1 through 3. I mean, you can't beat Child's Play 1 through 3. And I mean, that is a great segue into obviously the topic for today's live stream, which is going to be the rise and fall of Child's Play, the whole entire franchise, every single movie in the franchise, which this franchise it really is a wild journey. And what's great about doing this live, because obviously I've done a lot of Child's Play videos, but they're all, you know, VOD content with comments, of course. And we like to, you know, shoot the shit in the comments, but it's going to be fun today to kind of talk with you guys. I really want the chat to interact as I'm going through these movies. I want to hear what you guys think. I'm going to put up polls in the chat to get your reactions to some of the things with these movies. But yeah, the Child's Play franchise truly is, it's very unique, I feel like, in the genre because, yeah, I mean, some of the longest running horror franchises that are iconic, of course, it is an up and down journey throughout, you know, Friday the 13th and Halloween and Elm Street and all of those. But I feel like Child's Play has this unique ability that the first chunk of the franchise is so different than the last half and such a different quality as well, as far as just like the horror and the foundation of it all. You know, of course, you have Brad Dourif in every single movie except for one. So that definitely adds, you know, cohesiveness, which is great. But yeah, what a wild franchise. And I think it's a good one to talk about. You love Curse? Do you, Nick? You love Curse, huh? Yeah, Curse is a journey, man. That's like ushering in a new era, way more of like a modern era for Child's Play, right? Yeah, Curse is kind of crazy. Curse is that I hate the way Curse looks, but I'll talk more about that in just a minute. Hi Stimmus says, hate the low budget feel of Curse and Cult. The puppet looks like CGI garbage, not to mention the overly convoluted plot that cheapens the entire franchise. TV series was a major letdown also. Just a heads up, I have not seen the TV series. You know, wasn't all that interested in it. But Stimmus also says TV series had the opportunity to do a soft reboot and let go of those terrible plot points, but then they went all in 100%. Did they? The TV series? Did it just kind of piggyback off of Curse and Cult? Because if that's the case, man, I don't know what you're thinking. You must be high as a kite. I mean, those are straight to video, low budget-ish slasher movies, you know? Which can be great, of course. This is the horror genre. Of course, my channel is littered with low-budget schlop that is so charmingly good in its own way. Hey, what's up, Gordon? Gordon Freeman in the chat. How's it going, Gordon? Gordon asks, what's your favorite look of Chucky in the franchise? I would probably say Child's Play 2. I haven't really dug into that and thought too much about that, but I mean, what's really the difference between Child's Play 1 and 2? I mean, in Child's Play 2, of course, you get the severed hand, which is amazing, puts the blade on the hand, all of that. Love that. But throughout the rest of the movie, I'm trying to remember if he's very similar to 1. I mean, he's pretty much the same as 1, right? I mean, you can't beat 3. Also looks great in 3. I mean, but I would probably say 2 just because we also get... But then again, I mean... Man, there's a lot of people love the look of Chucky and Bride. That's great too, with the stitches and all that. I mean, that's amazing. But for me, I think just the classic Child's Play 2 would have to take that spot. But yeah, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. If the music's too loud, let me know. Actually, let me bump that down a little bit. I don't have my headphones on, so kind of put it in the background there. All right. Can you still hear the music? But anyways, what about you, Gordon? Yeah, let's do this. Of course, we're going to be starting... Actually, what do we want to start with? Let's start from the first movie, and we'll go all the way back to the remake. That's how we'll go. Yep, that's how we'll go. So, I'm going to throw up a little... I'm going to throw up a little poll here. About Child's Play number 1. Let me type it in. All right. All right, love it. All right, don't. All right, what are your thoughts on Child's Play 1988? Poll is coming up here in just a second. Exactly. All right, what are your thoughts on Child's Play 1988? Love it, not amazing, but enjoy it. At times, and don't like it. All right, there's the poll. Let me know what you guys think, and I also want to hear from you in the chat, of course. Obviously. All right, cool. I do hate... Can I move the poll? I do hate how it kind of blocks the chat. That's kind of annoying. Definitely kind of annoying. But anyways, the Stitches look is my favorite, and is probably the most iconic. It's, I mean, that look, I mean, you see it out trick-or-treating too, you know? When I was out trick-or-treating with my kids, you see other young kids and they got the Stitches look going on. A lot of them. So I get it. I get it. Jabroni, what's up, Jabroni? Jabroni says, I'm a huge Child's Play fan. Curse was okay to me, but wasn't a big fan of Cult. The first season of the TV series was great. The second one, not so much. I didn't bother to watch the third. Heard it was bad. That's what I've heard from a lot of people. But the first was actually pretty damn solid. And then after that, it just goes downhill. And then people just gave up, I think, on the third season. Did they cancel the show? I don't remember. I could care less. But, yeah. Okay. All right, let's do this. All right, here we go. If the music's... Let me know if the music's too loud, but... Here we go, here we go, here we go. So, obviously... Starting us out first is the OG Child's Play from 1988. So this movie, it's not perfect, but I mean, immediately when we start off in this movie, the great ambiguity of who is it? Just, you know, we're in downtown Chicago. It looks cold. It looks grimy. It looks like Jason Takes Manhattan, but obviously it's in Chicago. But it just kind of has that dangerous at night city feel in the wrong neighborhood, you know? You got this shootout going on with the Lakeshore Strangler. You're just like, what is going on here? Who is this guy? They're going into a toy store, and what is going on here? This guy knows voodoo? He knows some sort of, what is he doing here with this doll? And the storm is coming, and then you get that big explosion there, and you're like, holy shit, this is kind of crazy, you know? And you don't know exactly. Obviously, this is the first movie in the franchise, so it has the ability of surprise, that element there. You don't really know what's going on here. What happened with the doll? Is he dead? You know, what happened? But now, obviously, the first 3 movies in this franchise focus mainly on Andy. You know, that's like the meat and potatoes of these first 3 movies. You know, you get an older Andy in the 3rd movie and all that. And I think especially in the first movie, it does such a damn good job with the dynamic between Andy and Karen, you know, his mom. And like, Karen obviously has been through some stuff. They don't get too much into that, but is clearly a really good mom. She's busting her ass. She's working at the mall. You know, a little dynamic there with her boss and her coworker. And what's her coworker's name? Maggie, right? But I think Catherine Hicks just kills it in that role. I think she's a very underrated. I mean, she's beloved, but still kind of underrated in the genre. I think she's great in this movie. And it's that story of, you know, this mom trying to get by and her son, you know, playing off of the whole like 80s, just children's consumerism, marketing of dolls, the craze of like the 1983 Cabbage Patch riots and things like that. Just that massive craze of kids doing anything, begging their parents day and night to get something. And this kid, Andy, is like such a good kid that he really, really wants it, of course, but he's not you know, just this little prick who busts his mom's balls constantly. But his mom knows, you know, that he's a little shy, but he wants this doll, so she saves up a couple bucks, and then, you know, someone tips her off. I think Maggie tips her off that this homeless guy in the alley is selling one of the dolls, which is also a great way to get the character. It's like, where did this guy get this thing? What happened here? You know, obviously, Charles Lee Ray put himself into the Chucky doll. And then what happened? Did he just walk out of the toy store and then put himself in a box? That way he could be maybe like put into a kid's home, like organically? Or like, what really happened there? How did this homeless guy get a hold of this whole thing? Let me know in the comments, though, if you know some sort of a backstory, or if Don Mancini has talked about just that whole background with the homeless guy and how he got the doll. But still, I mean, like, it's a great protagonist storyline in the original Child's Play, in my opinion. You know, like, you really root for this family. You genuinely do. There's a lot of slasher movies you could give 2 shits about the people you're supposed to root for, but I feel like you genuinely do really, really root for this family. No doubt, you know? Yeah, you should. Stimus, definitely. The first 4 for sure. Hey, what's up, Wolf? Who do you, Voodoo? Okay, so the show did get canceled after the 3rd season. It did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Oh, what the hell? Okay, hold on. All right, hold on. Hold. So yeah, but oh, we got Pat in the chat. What's up, Pat? That Halloween Movie Collector, great channel. Highly recommend checking out. Yeah, how was you were streaming last night, weren't you? How'd it go? Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. But yeah, I mean, the original Child's Play really, like, yeah, you have so much sympathy for this kid, and this poor kid is, of course, just getting blamed for literally everything, and you just feel it to your core. Especially, I mean, if you're a human, or if you're a parent, especially, it's just like, damn, man, that makes you feel something. It like makes you hate the movie. It makes you kind of hate what's going on, but you're also so invested in what's happening because you feel like this kid's gonna get redemption in the end at some point. It's got to happen at some point. But I mean, being that the original Child's Play is also in the late 80s, I think is great. I think it's a great era for that particular movie. I think the movie would have been very different if it took place in the early 80s. Not just because it makes more sense after all of the Cabbage Patch riots and the consumerism in the 80s that just went crazy with toys and dolls and things like that, but just the look of the movie. I think there's a very unique look in the late 80s, early 90s-ish for horror movies. You guys know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. You know, with movies like Friday the 13th and Elm Street, they just have a certain look. And I think with the original Child's Play in 1988, I think it's great. I also think it's great they don't show Chucky too early in 1988. You know, you've got, like, especially with the death of Maggie there. They don't, I mean, you kind of know, of course, what's happening, but you don't know exactly what happens there. They keep it kind of mysterious and all of that. I think it's great. And I've mentioned this before in 1988, but a character who doesn't get enough credit in that movie is Chris Sarandon, in my opinion. I think he is, even though he's kind of a little bit of a side, I mean, I wouldn't even say a side character. No, he's definitely a main character, but he doesn't get enough credit, I don't think, in the original Child's Play. Like, I look at him as such a big part of this franchise blowing up. I mean, he's just great. I mean, that moment when, I mean, of course, he's a cop. Like, he sees all this stuff all the time. He's hardened. He's got calluses. He's not believing all this shit. He just wants, like, evidence. You know, give me some evidence. I'm not going to believe you. Like, I talk to crazy people all the time on the Chicago streets. What are you talking about, woman? What do you mean? This doll killed this lady? Like, what are you saying? But his reaction, once he starts to realize that, damn, they're actually, this is kind of weird. Something's not adding up here. He's almost in shock, his face, you know, and he goes and, like, rescues her from the homeless guy. And even where'd you get the doll? Even after that, he's just like, what is going on here? Like, holy shit. But of course, I mean, the original Child's Play. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Let me know after the fact. If you're watching this video after, let me know down in the comments as well. I mean, Brad Dourif, is this the best voice acting in the franchise, in the original Child's Play? Some people would say Child's Play 2, because the humor is a little bit cranked up a little bit more, but is this the scariest Chucky because of Brad Dourif and what he does in this movie? But yeah, I mean, lightning in a bottle with Brad Dourif voice acting Chucky. I mean, it's just, you know, it's that Freddy Krueger version of the character. What can be said, right? But yeah, Pat says, doing good, thanks. We did a watch along with the Burbs, doing a watch party. Prom. I saw, yeah, Prom Night. What a classic. I gotta go back and revisit that one. What a classic. Yeah, go check them out tonight. That Halloween movie collector right there. Drop him a sub, Pat, and I'm assuming you're probably joined by the fellas, but they're doing a little another watch along tonight of Prom Night. Great slasher movie if you've seen it. Jamie Lee Curtis. The original is a slow burn, Gordon says, but does a good job of making you yearn for the protagonist's survival. I would agree. What's up, Joe Mama? One of our channel members right there. Catching this while at work. Hope work is going well, Joe. Hope work is going well. Yeah. I mean, the cast in the original Child's Play, the setting, the grittiness of it, the story. Yeah, I mean, it's an early movie in the franchise, so there's times, of course, where Chucky looks janky as hell, but it kind of has that charm also. Like when he goes to that guy's house, I don't remember his name, but the voodoo guy, and you just see him right there like, hey, I'm here, bitch. I mean, it very much looks silly in so many ways, but still great at the same time. And yeah, in Child's Play 1988, there are moments, and we do see that throughout the franchise, where Chucky is going toe-to-toe with these massive adults and holding his own no problem. It's a movie, I get it, and it's a little ridiculous, but yeah, what a great movie. Not perfect by any means, but 1988, what a great one. Just blending wit, humor, the horror of it. I mean, that moment when Chucky reveals himself to Andy's mom, Karen, you know? Like, that is forever ingrained in my brain for the rest of my life. Not only because, funny story, We used to scare the absolute hell out of my sister when she was young with, you know, just everything from Child's Play, especially the original Child's Play, but especially that moment. And it scared the shit out of her, probably scarred her for life. But she has red hair, pretty red hair. So, you know, yeah, we would kind of like, you know, tease her about that and Chucky and all that. But that moment, man, rolls underneath the couch. You're like, holy shit, what's going on here? And then just freaks out. It's just all-time great stuff. But hey, what's up, Monty? What's going on, man? The original is very good. Not my favorite, but still holds up for me. Yeah, I agree. Greetings from London. Chimpy says, love Child's Play. The voice acting is fantastic. Oh, yeah, definitely, Chimpy. Welcome, dude. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jabroni says, even though the look of Chucky is scarier in the second film, to me, the vibe of the first movie will always be the scariest. Yeah, it's definitely the third movie has a lot of darkness to it as well. You know, now that I think about it. But the first movie has got to be the darkest movie. Just the most eerie, just dark feeling, you know? Wolf Status says, Chucky does go against adults in one scene, but next gets thrown across the room. I know, it's like, what's going on here? You know, what is happening? Pat says, I still think the original Child's Play is the best. Sarandon, very underrated. Hell yeah. My favorite role of his next two, Fright Night. Hell yeah. Great actor, dude. I also just realized we were introducing my kids to Princess Bride 2 days ago. And he plays the king prince in Princess Bride. I was like, there he is. Yeah, I mean, we'll get into the remake, of course, Gordon, but Gordon says, we missed out on a great 2000s Child's Play remake. Yeah, they were supposed to make the remake in about 2010. That was the original plan, but Brad Dourif said he didn't want to return to voice act the character during that time. So they ended up it just went into development hell, you know, and then came out 9 years later, unfortunately. But yeah, a remake would have been dope somewhere in the whole like Seed, Bride, but it would have been, yeah, who knows? It depends who they would have, you know, obviously put on the role as director to kind of, depending to how that movie would have been. But anyways, all right, that is the original Child's Play. Let's see what everybody says let's see how the poll is doing here. Hold on. All right, let's end the poll. What are the results? Okay. Woo! Yeah, I get it. You guys more people need to vote next time. All right, you guys are slacking. But yeah, so 87% said love the original Child's Play. 13% said the original Child's Play is not amazing, but enjoy it at times. And then 0% said they don't like it. You know, I would expect nothing less from people who watch my channel. Hell yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, of course, moving right along from Child's Play 1988, which is a movie that's great. Like, it deserves to be in horror royalty, an all-time classic. Is it the greatest horror movie ever made? For me personally, if it is for you, nothing against you. I totally get it. It's iconic. But for me, it's not the greatest horror movie ever made or anything like that. Nor is this franchise my favorite horror franchise. Just has too many flaws. Too many bad movies. Moving right along to the fan favorite, Child's Play 2. What a classic. Just 2 years later, it came out. You know, the fans were dying for more, but what's my favorite thing about the original, Gordon asks? My favorite thing about the original, it's probably just the vibe of that movie. I think Chicago is an amazing place to set it, and that's kind of the overarching thing that makes this whole movie just feel dark and cold and just unforgiving, you know? It feels like Candyman, which is also great. That urban setting, you know what I mean? Sorry, just got here. Slept in. I vote love. What up, Moodoo Lover? How dare you sleep in? How dare you? When I start a stream at 9 a.m. Pacific, I expect your ass to be not at 9 a.m. because on time is late. You need to be 2 minutes early, coffee in hand, your suit and tie on. Jesus Christ. Have I been enjoying Welcome to Derry? To be honest, I've only seen the first episode. I just haven't had time. I really want to watch episode 2. I really want to watch episode 3. I've heard they crank up the horror and then they start to get into the twists and turns because apparently there's going to be a lot of twists and turns. So I'm definitely going to watch episode 2 and 3. I'm looking forward to that. But you guys enjoying it? You enjoying it, Nick? But yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch the series for sure. I need to finish Alien Earth too. It's like, shit, man. When you have 2 kids, especially 2 kids that are 5 and 7 like I do, just the time, just time. It's just, but Pat says, same here. The Child's Play franchise for me has always been meh. What is your favorite franchise, Matt? Ooh, I know. I mean, you and I both, we love Halloween, of course. I mean, I always go back and forth between Halloween and Friday the 13th just because, they're both so much fun in their own crazy way. It's hard to say. Elm Street is not my favorite franchise in the genre. I love Elm Street, but yeah, it's just not my favorite. But I know it sounds cliche because it's one of the big 3, but I mean, it's 2 of the big 3 movies, but it's got to be between Friday the 13th and Halloween. I mean, sometimes I'm like, man, Halloween is my favorite. I love this franchise so much. And then sometimes I'm like more in the Friday the 13th mood and I'm like, damn, Friday the 13th just hits differently. But they're just different, at times Halloween gets a little bit more like serious and a little bit more like of course like Cult of Thorn and some of the other storylines, they really like get creative with it and deep and dark and interesting with the stars aligning and things, which is not something you ever see really in Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is more, just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So it just kind of depends on my mood, man. That's a tough question. Yeah. I mean, my favorite slasher movie of all time is probably Halloween 2, the original. So Chucky and Candyman, Jabroni says, are both set in Chicago. I always thought they should have tied Candyman into the universe like they did in Bride with Freddy, Jason, etc. Yeah, it's a great point. Tie in Candyman with the Child's Play franchise, a similar aesthetic. Would have been great. I would have been down. That kind of would have been nuts. Voodoo says Friday the 13th is an unbroken timeline for 11 films, so that tilts it for me. I get it. Is it unbroken in Friday the 13th? I mean, yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, the 2009 movie kind of, it doesn't break the timeline. I get it. It doesn't break the timeline. It kind of goes back in time, of course, but yeah, I get it. I get it. That is something unique about it. It's just like, it just keeps on going because, Jason is invincible. He could just be resurrected, of course. Yeah, Nick, I hope they kill the show. I mean, like, in a good way. Can't wait. But how's it going, High Hoop Galaxy? But yep, moving right along once again. Like I said, we're moving on to Child's Play 2. Let's get back on topic. Thanks for guys sharing your thoughts in the chat there. Let me put up the old poll here as well. Dun, 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 dun. All right, start a poll. What are your thoughts on Child's Play 2? Love it. All right. All right. Boom. There's the latest poll for this one. Make sure you vote. And let's get into it. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, definitely, Gordon. Yeah, you're right, man. Very ruthless. Like, Chucky is pissed. But, Yeah, I love this movie. I think this movie is like, it's brisk. Like, I think it's 85 minutes or something like that. Something to be said about that. Like, that's fun as well. But, it sucks that Karen doesn't come back in this movie. But I love the fact that in Child's Play 2, they start to also dive into the company that makes the good guy dolls and their I can't even talk. Their thought process behind all of that, the corruption in that company, using kids mindset, trying to squeeze every dollar out of the parents. I can't remember the guy's name who is like the CEO of the good guy doll company. Is it Mr. Sullivan? Can't believe I can remember that. I think it's Mr. Sullivan, but a fun character. He doesn't die though until 3, I don't think, which is a really fun scene in his apartment, but you get a little bit of that. You start to see that. You start to see his little bitch, the executive that also works for him, the yes man. He's going to the liquor store, ends up getting just murdered by Chucky there. I think that's a fun reveal, but, and then for some reason, like, why would you not just take, is your budget really that tight where you can't just throw the doll that they're suspecting has a serial killer soul inside of it, just throw it into a meat grinder like Michael Myers and then just make new ones? Like, why do we have to reuse the doll? But kind of a fun way to bring back, Chucky. It's very similar to Jason Lives, electricity, whatever have you. So that's kind of fun, killing somebody there. And he's like, bury this. You better bury this or else you will be fired for sure. That's his office, not an apartment. Sick office, though. I don't think that's his office. I think that's his, penthouse. Am I wrong? Mr. Sullivan in Child's Play 3 when he dies? I'm pretty sure that's his penthouse. They're trying to give us that vibe of this is his office in his house. He's a toy executive, a CEO of this massive toy company. So he has some of the toys around. He's got his couch there with his TV. He's winding down for the day. He's drinking. He's about to go to bed. I'm pretty sure he's about to go to bed. Plus, I don't remember, when they zoom out on the Good Guy Dolls factory, I don't remember there being a massive high-rise building. And I'm pretty sure if you look out his window, he's way up in the sky. I think he's in a massive high-rise downtown. That's his penthouse suite where he lives, I'm pretty sure, which is just early 90s baller status. Everything's black leather, cigars, scotch. But anyways, who knows? But it's not really a big deal. But one thing definitely about Child's Play 2, which is great, that I love, are the kills. The kills in Child's Play 2 are my favorite in the entire franchise. We get some great kills throughout the entire thing, but I won you over. I could be wrong too. Who the hell knows? But not a big deal. But the kills are great. The teacher in the closet there, that's awesome. With the ruler, you've been naughty, and then just boom, wham, wham, and then I like how the camera every single time you see him through the window from far away, and every single time he hits her, it kind of zooms out. Another frame out, boom, 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 boom. I love that with the music. It's a fun kill. Yeah, give it to that teacher. That's a really fun one. You got the guy dying inside of the factory with the eyeball thing going into his eyes. That's a fun schlocky one as well. But I also think I really like the kill. So obviously he kills the foster dad. He trips him, so he falls off the stairs and breaks his neck. But I think the kill next of the foster mom, I think is pretty solid too. You just hear the sewing machine off in the distance. I don't know if any of you guys have a mom who likes to sew a lot. My mom likes to sew a lot, so that makes me think about that. You can always kind of hear her sewing machine off in the distance, but that moment there, and then you go up there and she's brutally murdered, and then Chucky pops out and you get a little scuffle there. But another fun reveal, with Kyle also. Kyle doesn't believe him. Kyle's very similar in Child's Play 2 to Chris Sarandon. They kind of take that character and evolve it into Kyle's character. She's skeptical, of course, but she's a kid. She's just this foster kid. Probably had a rough life, but she's pretty tough, smoking cigs, living her life. But she's like, you're crazy. What are you talking about? This doll? And then suddenly she realizes, holy shit, this is real. And then that's a great moment too. I think she did a good job there. But Kyle's an iconic horror protagonist in the genre, no question. She's really great in Child's Play 2. One of the best characters in the franchise, no doubt, and really elevates this movie in every sense of the word at the end, in the beginning, or not, she's not in the beginning, but in the end, in the middle, it's just all over the place. She is so damn good. But yeah, I also think Child's Play 2, what this movie does really well also is it's got the best ending in the entire franchise. I mean, the set design with the factory, just everything going on with the conveyor belts and the assembly line, and they're trying to navigate through that and the different things that are almost killing them, the things that take out Chucky. Chucky loses an arm in all this machinery and shit, puts the knife on his arm. He can feel the pain, but is just so pissed. He just keeps on coming and then gets melted at the end with all the, I think it's like the melted lava rubber, which is great. Just a lot of fun. Just a damn good ending. Like I said, the best ending to me in this entire franchise. So yeah, I mean, is there really, man, what are some of maybe the bad things about Child's Play 2? Some of the downers that I think in that moment, man, I'm trying to remember. I mean, it's not a perfect movie by any means. It's not my favorite slasher movie ever made, but it is a damn good Chucky movie, But yeah, what's up, Darren? Welcome on in. So the theme of the video is, like it says in the title of the video, right? The entire franchise. We're talking about the kind of the rise and fall of the Child's Play franchise from 1988 to 2019, all the way up to the good old remake. What up, Josh? So Josh says it's the best Child's Play movie ever. I bet if you polled all of the people who have ever seen every movie in this franchise, I bet most people would probably say 2 is their favorite. Obviously, that's just a total guess. I could be totally wrong. Would you rather be hunted, Gordon says, would you rather be hunted by Chucky or Billy and Stu's Ghostface? Oh, definitely Chucky. Yeah, definitely. Like, shit, Billy and Stu, man, that's also 2 people. 2 big, I mean, like, adult-size kids, I guess you could say. I mean, Chucky would be able to obviously gaslight the hell out of you. Like, nobody would believe you. Chucky would be able to sneak his way into situations that Billy and Stu probably couldn't be able to. But I've never been all that scared, even when I was young, of Chucky, because he's so small. I mean, it's a scary character, but yeah, we're talking about the second one, as you can see. Boop, over my shoulder. So we're almost finished talking about the second one, though. Jabroni says the best part of the second film is Chucky himself. This was Brad's best performance as Chucky to me. Yeah, I mean, the one-liners also, we got to talk about that. I mean, they're like, the one-liners, I think, in Child's Play 2 are pretty solid. They could have done a little bit better with the one-liners, I think. They could have leaned into that a little bit more. That could be a criticism that I do have. But damn, women drivers, You think so, Twister? Number 2 is probably your favorite. I respect it. I will have a Child's Play ranking in the near future. I don't want to spoil it too much, but I love me some Child's Play 2. Love me some Child's Play 2. So damn good, What else? Anything else I want to say about Child's Play 2? I mean, just what a great blend of, I think the original leans more dark, more horror, whereas Child's Play 2 is arguably the best blend of, like, fun and scary. Probably the best blend of fun and scary, which is what makes this franchise so iconic. All right, let's end the poll. Let's see what you guys said. Ooh, okay. The poll was, what are your thoughts on Child's Play 2? 83% said, is this the same as the first movie? It's like the same numbers almost. 83% said they love Child's Play 2. 17% said they like it at times, but in the middle. And then 0% said they don't like it. So, yeah, Teal Kit. Yeah, Teal Kit says 2 is the best sequel. Have you ever seen the MTV Scream? And if so, what are your thoughts? Yeah, I actually have a video ranking the first season of the Scream MTV show. The first season. Apparently the second season is better. It's been on my list to watch the second season. It's been on my list, and I will. 2 isn't scary. The OG is scary. I get it if people feel that way. The other poll was 87 to... Oh, that's what it is. The 7 and the 3 were switched. All right. Teal Kit says he's got the OG over the sequel. Hey, I respect it. I love it, but unrelated, it kind of bothered me how easy it is for Chucky to just get to Andy. It was definitely Grace Poole's fault. What up, Eli? What's going on, dude? All right, moving right along to Child's Play 3. Make that a little bigger, huh? Yeah, make it a little bigger. Let's make that a little bigger. Let's see that big ass scary face. But yeah, just a heads up, guys. You guys might be able to see it. It's probably kind of small for you, especially if you're on a phone or something. But so we got a couple members goals going on. The member goals are lofty. I know they're definitely lofty. But when we hit 50 members on the channel, I will be doing a giveaway for those channel members. I'll be giving away one of these, which is the Halloween 2 Michael Myers popcorn bucket that just recently came out. I'll be giving away one of those. I have 2 of them, and I'll be giving away one of those. You can ask me if you win it. You can always ask me to do whatever you want with it too. I can, put some of my hair in there, or sign it, or no. But all jokes aside, whatever. You know what I mean? It'll probably come with like a thank you note or something. But anyways, when we hit 50 members, 50 YouTube members on the channel, yeah, I'll be giving away one of those. And, with memberships also comes other things like perks, and you get access to videos early. There's going to be there's exclusive live streams that nobody else can watch except for members. It's very similar to Patreon. There's just a lot of exclusive benefits to becoming a member on the channel, but also, of course, it's free to watch this channel. You never, ever have to pay for anything, really. But it's just an extra way if you want to help support this thing, help to keep this thing going. Like they say, help to keep the lights on around here. That's one way that helps for sure. So yeah, I'll give away one of those at 50. And then, yeah, if we ever hit 100 members, 100, I will do a 6-hour, at least a 6-hour live stream cosplaying as Dr. Loomis. And I will be bald. And I will be crazy as hell. I will probably have a cigarette in my mouth. And it'll be a wild stream. At least 6 hours, just doing all kinds of shenanigans. Probably having some giveaways. We'll probably do like a cake in the face. I'll have like one of my kids or my wife smash a cake in my face or something if we hit 100 on top of the cosplay. That'll be fun. Play games, watch movies, do some watch-alongs. It'll just be a hell of a lot of fun. But just a heads up there. So obviously, like I said, Child's Play 3. It's from 1991, right? Yeah, 1991. Let's do a little, but enough talking about the membership stuff. Don't fuck with the Chuck. The opening to 3 was fire. Yeah, great opening for sure. All right, we'll start my poll for Child's Play 3. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Kind of mid, though. That's what I'm going to say for the middle one. As the kids would say, right? And then don't like it. I'm still waiting for somebody to come in the chat and say they don't like one of these movies. I think it's going to be coming with the later ones. Don't like it. All right. Boom. There's the poll. Make sure you guys vote. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Monty Bruce. Monty. Consistent viewer of the channel. Someone who comments a lot on a lot of my videos. Is always interactive, and I appreciate you, Monty. Monty says 3 has one of the best Chucky quotes in the series, and didn't know people didn't like this one so much until the internet came along. Are you talking about Don't Fuck with the Chuck? That's in 3, right? Gordon says, Chucky in Child's Play 3 is the scariest to me, and the scene when he scared the guy to death was one of my favorite moments in the series. Yeah, the fat colonel, or whatever. General Colonel, whatever he is. Catch up on chat here for a minute. Teal Kit says 3 has a goated opening, and I heard it was originally supposed to be the ending to 2. Nothing like a little strangulation to get the circulation going. Yeah. There's some great kills in 3. I mean, the kill of the barber kill, like, that's fun. You knew that was coming, that prick. So fun, so fun. What do you guys like so much about the intro to Child's Play 3? I hear a lot of people just saying, like, it is so good. But anyways, yeah, Child's Play 3. I mean, so I don't know what it is, but I mean, Child's Play 3, though, despite the love that you guys are giving it in the chat, despite the love that it gets in the genre, despite the love that it gets from me, critically, it is the most hated movie in the franchise. So, yeah, it's pretty rough for Child's Play 3 as far as critics go. Not that we care at all, but 19% on Rotten Tomatoes for Child's Play 3. So, kind of crazy there for sure. But it's also the least financially successful out of the first 3 movies, which is not surprising. You know, it's kind of the end of that era. Not that people were tired of the franchise or anything like that, but it was just kind of like, pretty different than Child's Play 2. But what's up, Stay Relevant? How's it going? 3 was great to me, but 2 will always be the best in my opinion. Yeah, a lot of people love 2. Like I said, I think 2, I mean, if I polled all of you guys in the chat, most of you would probably say 2 is your favorite. If you say the remake's your favorite, you're banned permanently from the channel. But, you know. Child's Play are all 3 are better than Bride and Seed, in my opinion. That's what Stay Relevant says. Teal Kit says 3 to some is the last great Child's Play. Let's see. Who's Darren? Is Darren being weird? Who the fuck is Darren? Oh, Darren. Don't piss anyone off, Darren. Don't make my trigger finger here get pissed. Get a little frisky. Let it get a little frisky. I'll ban people. If there's any dickery in the chat, my finger's itching. It's been itching for a while. I've never banned anyone from this channel yet. But you can talk shit to me. This goes for everyone. You can kind of, we can banter. But as soon as you start pissing off people in my chat, the main thing is just don't be annoying. You know what I mean? Like, once you start annoying the chat and annoying me, then I'm usually just like, all right, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Bye-bye. I tried to watch the remake, but God, it's trash. Yeah, we'll get to the remake in a minute. But yeah, Child's Play 3, I mean, like I said, critically hated, but that doesn't matter. It's got some great things about it, but yeah, I mean, it's 8 years. Technically, it takes place 8 years after the second movie in the timeline, not in real life, but Andy is much older, so, we have no more of the original actor to play that character. But I do think the new actor that plays Andy, I forget his name, I think he does a good job, though, in the role. I think he really does. He doesn't take away anything from the movie. But I do also like this setting. It's at Kent Military School. Clearly inspired by, like, Full Metal Jacket. It's very much during that era, which is an era I love. I mean, I grew up on, like, some of the greatest war military movies of all time. So I like that setting, this whole Kent Military School. I think it's a cool little setting and a big, like, pretty big risk, for the franchise. Like, we're going way away from Chicago, from all of that. What? We're going to a military school? Like, what is going on? But I think it actually works. Hey, Dominic, I appreciate it. Dominic says, yeah, thanks for the love, Dominic. Glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, the carnival setting is fun too. Carnival setting is fun too. Is this music too loud? But yeah, let me check. Is it too loud? Yeah, the carnival setting is really fun at the end. I mean, it's all right. But yeah. Fun setting, no doubt. But yeah, Andy's now 16, so it's a different dynamic. Like, you know, Andy kisses the, what's his face? Ari Gold's wife from Entourage in this movie at one point and all of that. But I do think, I mean, Mr. Sullivan, like I said, the kill of Mr. Sullivan, I think is great. I think that's a lot of fun. Just the eeriness of his, you can just smell the cigars and the scotch in this baller ass 90s, early 90s penthouse suite for this just consumerism final boss, you know? But I do think when it comes to, what's that guy's name? The drill sergeant. It's on the tip of my tongue, the drill sergeant. I do think the drill sergeant in Child's Play 3, they could have done a better job leaning into making him more of a villain. Some of you might say, what are you talking about? Like, he's a pretty good villain. I just don't think he is. Not that he does a bad job, but I think they could have leaned into that more and more and more. Made him like do some awful stuff to give us more villains. But do I have mods? No, not really. No. But what's the matter, guys? We're not behaving. Do I need to ban some people? I used to love Bride more than 3 ever since revisiting. That has changed, Tealkit says. But yeah, but I do think one thing about Child's Play 3 that doesn't, for me, it doesn't make it as good as like a Child's Play 2 is the fact that in the middle, it does drag a little bit. Now, I do like that kill with like the garbage truck. Like, that's pretty fun. Not as great as the one in Final Destination Bloodlines, but still. Botnik? There's no way. Is that his name? But yeah, I mean, I feel like we're watching, we spend too much time in Child's Play 3 watching the jumping jacks, watching the, you know, people get reprimanded for not listening and things like that. And I get the movie is still like 90 minutes, so they still, you know, had to fill it, but a little bit too much of that. We should have done a little bit more Chucky stuff, but fun kill, like I said, with the barber, and the ending is fun at the carnival. Chucky falling into the fan. I think that's pretty fun. It's like a horror, you know, it's a scary ride that they're on too, so that's kind of fun. But what's up, Michael Alderton? How's it going, Michael? Just watched Child's Play 3 last night. Oh, it's not awful, but not as good as not as good as 1 and 2. Number 2 had a better showdown in the carnival setting, and number 3 was good too. I think you meant had a better showdown in the factory. The paintball training scene, yeah. How Chucky replaces it with bullets, like that's pretty solid. I mean, I don't know, Mudo Lover. I don't know. I think they already checked the guns. You know what I mean? They filled them all with paint. They double checked them. They probably had another person check them, and then Chucky kind of at the last minute swapped them out. Is it believable that Chucky can just parade around this military base with no keys or access cards or anything like that? He can get into like these crazy places. Does that make sense? No, not really, but still, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But thanks so much for watching, everybody, for tuning in. By the way, appreciate it. Oh, damn. What did I just do? There we go. There we go. All right. I was like, what is that little crown next to your name? Most of my experience live streaming has been on Twitch over the years, but I've been doing it more and more on YouTube. So I'm getting used to all these little things. That means you're like the most talkative person, I guess. You've chatted the most, I think. But oh yeah. Yeah, I think so. Oh, before 2030? What is that? I mean, that's less than 5 years. Ooh, good question. Good question. I haven't heard about any development, so they would have to get cracking on it to get, but How long does it take to make a Child's Play movie? It's not that long. You give them 2 years and they could pump one out. I just really hope like we get the right studio behind a new Child's Play movie. Brad Dourif comes back. He can still do it, definitely. It's not like Robert Englund where he actually has to be in costume physically. You know, Brad Dourif could do the voice acting forever. And then they'll do like what they did with James Earl Jones and just like license his voice and keep using his voice forever. But anyways, which, damn, I mean, I guess maybe they should do that, maybe not. But anyways, that's a topic for another time. But yeah, I really hope we do. Don't forget to slash that like button and sub to this awesome channel. Thanks, Eli. Exactly. Gremlins 3. Gremlins 3. Yeah, you guys are talking about the TV show. Yeah, so hold on to your butts. Give me just 1 second, guys. I really apologize. Don't go anywhere. I need just a second. I'll be right back really, really quick. You guys can talk about Child's Play 3 in the chat. Make sure you vote. Give me just 1 quick second. Hold. Behave yourselves. Hey, behave yourselves. You guys behaving yourselves? Yeah, I heard season 1 Monty was okay. You love Curse? You love it? What'd you love about it? But, alright. Sorry about that. What's up, J-Man? I hope you're doing well. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. And also, yeah. All the channel members on the channel, stay tuned. I got some big stuff cooking for you guys. And like I said, giveaways too. Some big giveaways if we can hit some of these numbers as well. So. Oh, you think so, Wolf? Yeah. I mean, Jennifer Tilly's great. She's great in this franchise. You know, she's in this franchise a lot. Yeah, she's great. I would love to see her in a new one if they can kind of implement her in the right way. Stay Relevant says I didn't like any of the new Chucky movies, like that new trilogy. I don't know, just too dark tone for me. We'll get into that in just a second, but. Anything else you want to talk about with Child's Play 3, guys? You know? It's definitely the worst movie out of the first 3, but still fun as hell. You know? Like I said, the middle kind of drags a little bit, but still a solid cast, a solid setting, still is dark and scary and unforgiving. Brad Dourif is still on point and does a good job overall. And has some fun moments. I like it. So, all right, get your votes in. Last chance to vote. Last chance before we end the poll. All right, ending the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's take a look. All right. 67% of you said Child's Play 3 is fun at times. Oh, wait. Sorry. I got it mixed up. 33% of you said you love Child's Play 3. 67% of you said it's fun at times, but kind of mid, though. Oof. So clearly a big drop off compared to Child's Play 1 and 2. Big drop off. But obviously, up next after Child's Play 3 is Bride of Chucky from 1998. So 7 years after Child's Play 3. Of course. What do you think about Bride? Let me throw up the poll here really quick. A lot of people love this movie. You know? A lot of people like this movie. All right. The poll is up. Go and make sure you vote. I want to hear what you guys think. The best part about this live stream, doing this live instead of just after the fact. I mean, we have comments on those videos, of course, and I read them all. But still, it's fun to talk to you guys live. Just Nick says Bride and Seed are the only ones in the franchise I can't rewatch. Gordon says Bride is one of the most iconic Child's Play movies. It's so different. There's a lot of nostalgia with this movie for me, though, just because it's an era. It's like, I wasn't in high school, but I was, what was I, junior high-ish? I can't remember, kind of in that area. But anyways, so, you know, it's, yeah, it's a movie. It's a crazy, like, obviously, Child's Play 2 blends the fun and the humor and the comedy very well with the darkness and the brutality. But of course, like, now we're starting to, it's not 50-50 really anymore, right? It's like 70-30, you could say. Like, yeah, Bride has a lot of darkness to it. What's the director's name? Ronnie Yu? But anyways, it's very much a Ronnie Yu movie. And there's something to be said about that, you know? Like, his movies, I think it's great when a director is able to kind of imprint his style onto a movie. You can just watch the movie and be like, you know what? I bet this is his movie. It's gotta be. And yeah, it very much has that style. He's the same guy that directed Freddy vs. Jason, so you'll see a lot of parallels with those two. But yeah, definitely leans way more comedy. Yeah, Ronnie Yu. And yeah, in this movie, of course, the first 3 movies, like I said, the whole Andy storyline, Chucky trying to track him down and swap souls. That whole storyline is now ditched completely. You got Jennifer Tilly introduced in this movie, who's become a horror icon because of this movie. You know, you got Tiffany, you know, it's Charles Lee Ray. They come up with this story. They're like, all right, where are we going to go from here? Maybe we'll use an ex-girlfriend or just like the complicated lover of Charles Lee Ray, the serial killer, who she's also kind of fucked up too. And we'll use that character to bring back Chucky. She's motivated to bring him back. And then we'll use her darkness in this storyline. She has like some good attributes as well. Like she kind of cares, but also she's like messed up, you know, probably had a horrible childhood or something. And I mean, that's kind of realistic. Like, I'm sure a lot of us have came across something like that. It's almost like they have a split personality, you know, like, you see someone who's clearly like doing like weird shit, but there's also times where they seem completely normal and empathetic. So I think they did a good job, and I think Jennifer Tilly did a good job with that character. But there's some fun moments in this movie. I mean, there are. I mean, you know, Chucky, If you go back and rewatch Bride, though, a gripe that I do have is very early on in Bride, I do kind of feel like Brad Dourif's voice acting is not all that great. I mean, it was, you know, he was away from the franchise for a while. It almost feels like those were the first scenes that they filmed, you know, after all this time away, and it was a little rusty. It didn't quite really feel like the Chucky we've loved from 1, 2, and 3. It gets better as it goes along, but like I said, it could have been like the first day of his work on this movie, you know, and he didn't quite find his rhythm yet. It's not bad, but it's just Chucky, his voice seemed a little off after Tiffany brings him back. But that's a fun moment, you know, they're in her trailer. That guy thinks that she's going to hook up with him, which, you know, I don't blame him. You know, she's looking good. But anyways, I'm just reading the chat. My older brother has the full-size dolls of Chucky and Tiffany from that film. They're so awesome. I feel like, yeah, I see Tiffany and Chucky from that movie with the stitches and everything going on so much all over. People love this movie. Really do. But Monty says, Bride is good, but I didn't like just how far it goes from the original 3. It started the downward slope. Yeah, in a lot of ways it did. J-Man says, will the giveaway include Child's Play remake merch? If so, I am so in, LOL. Appreciate this channel and content. We need a Phantasm remake. Dude, Phantasm is a franchise I cannot wait to dig into. I need to dig into that one. Do we get an I voted Mad Blood sticker for voting? Oh, that's actually a good point. The Mad Blood stickers. I do have some of those stickers. You guys want some of those stickers? It's the logo. It's a sticker. I'll definitely include one of those. I'll definitely include at least one of those stickers with the old popcorn bucket in the giveaway if we can hit 50 members someday. But yeah, we'll give away some of those stickers. Absolutely. I've got some stickers. It's a good point. I forgot I even had those because we moved and shit just gets crazy when you move. You're like, what do I even own? Where's my underwear? Why am I naked all the time? Where is anything? Bride has one of the worst protagonists. The protagonists are not great in Bride. No. I don't think it's horrible, but the whole story of we're following this teenage couple who wants to elope on their journey, it's okay. That part of it. I do like the road trip angle, though. I'm always a fan of road trips and movies. You know, I do think even though the movie is kind of shitty, that Texas Chainsaw movie, it's one of the newer ones. What is it called? Leatherface, I think it is, where they're on a road trip. That kind of adds a little something to that movie. They're just going and going and going. There's all these changes of scenery. You know, we're at the motel, like it's Dumb and Dumber, the Love Motel. They kill that couple there. The glass falls onto them, just like what happens in Cult. Very similar to that. And then they start banging. I mean, we get that in Bride, right? We get two dolls banging each other like it's Team America or something like that. I'm all rubber, baby. So, yeah, Voodoo for Dummies. You know, immediately when you saw something like that, you're like, oh, okay. We're doing something different. But Bride, very much, of course. I mean, look at the poster for Bride over my shoulder. Did I put it up? Yeah, I did. Look at the poster for Bride. Look at that. It's Scream 2. It's literally Scream 2's poster. So, like, they know the influence that Scream had on the genre. They know the influence that Scream had on this movie. It's not quite as meta, maybe, as Seed, but there's a lot of stuff, of course, that's like more meta and has humor in it, self-referential. I think what some people confuse, I think there's a lot of movies that came out after Scream, and they kind of confused what made Scream so great sometimes. They're like, oh, Scream is hilarious, so we're just going to make a funny movie that's horror. I mean, that's not really what Scream is. Like, yeah, Scream is kind of funny, but it's not a comedy. You know, Scream is just like, I look at Scream as really, the original Scream is really just witty and well written and interesting. It's like they're talking about horror movies in a horror, it's, you know, but it's also like brutal. Like that opening scene is scary as shit and bloody and nasty and heartbreaking. So it's like that blend, But yeah, I get it. They were like, oh, the genre is just gonna be fun now, not dark and things like that. But then we got Blair Witch Project, and they're like, okay, actually people do love the dark shit still. So, hey Jamie, how's it going? After Scream, all the movie posters looked like that in the 90s. I know, right? So true, but I hope you're doing good, Jamie. I hope you're good. Sorry about the Bills last weekend. But hey, my Niners lost too. Unfortunately, to a division rival as well. Sucks. What a season to be a Niners fan. It's rough. I mean, it's actually not bad. We have a winning record, but obviously we're half our team's in a wheelchair. Kenny says, "What's up, Kenny? By the way, I honestly only like the first two Child's Play. No offense to anybody that likes the ones after that. It's all good. Yeah, just your opinion. I get it. I totally get it, dude. Those are probably the best movies in the franchise. No spoilers, but anyways, yeah. I mean, I do like in the beginning of Bride though how we see like the evidence locker with Jason's mask and Michael and Leatherface, the chainsaw. I think that's kind of fun too. But also like in Bride, I mean, this is Chucky's movie very much, right? Like Chucky is all over this movie. He's not in the shadows anymore. He's not hiding. They're not trying to be ambiguous. They're like, here's Chucky. It's kind of like Jason Lives. Here is Chucky. You're just getting Chucky all over the place. And people love that. I mean, it's obviously... Did you, Jamie? I bet that was fun. But it's obviously his franchise. Like, he makes this franchise, of course. But I like Bride, It's not my favorite movie in the franchise, but I like it. So... yeah, I think that's enough with Bride. It's a fun movie. A lot of CGI. Yeah, a lot of CGI. So I'll give you guys just a few more seconds to vote what you think about Bride. If you haven't voted yet, make sure you vote in the chat. And we will end the poll. I would disagree. To me, this is Tiffany's movie even more than Chucky. There's an argument to be said about that, yeah. There's an argument. I mean, she's kind of like she's kind of owning the movie. Like, she brings back Chucky. We see her in real life. We see her as a doll. I feel like, though, Tiffany kind of takes a back seat in a lot of moments in the movie. Like, once Chucky is brought back and he's unleashed, he's outside of the baby crib, I feel like he kind of owns a lot of the movie. Phone's blowing up. What the hell? Yeah, Leatherface. That's not the worst movie in that franchise. All right, I'm ending the poll, guys. What did we say? All right. 50% of you said you love Bride of Chucky. 39% said fun at times, but too silly for me. But now we're starting to get some dislikes. 11% of you said I don't like it. Hey, now we're starting to get a little spicy, and I think it's just going to get spicier as this goes along. Jamie says, Bride rules might be my personal favorite, but to be honest, Chucky never scared me. I was 15 when the first movie came out, and as an 80s teen girl, I wasn't impressed. I get it. Yeah, I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. How Chucky never has really scared me either. He's just small. And I've never believed the whole thing of like, anytime he kicks people's ass when they go toe to toe, I've just never really believed that. But there is that angle of the character being able to kind of get into places humans wouldn't be able to get into just because he's a doll. That part is kind of scary, but yeah, I'm kind of like you. I've never really been. I mean, I was born in '85, but so I wasn't quite. I couldn't see this. I didn't see this movie obviously when it came out. But when I was, it's never really scared me all that much. But how was that theater experience though? Gordon says Bride is tied with the original for second most kills in the franchise, with the remake having the most. Yeah, well, all right. Moving right along from Bride, obviously, to... Well, here we go. Seed of Chucky from 2004. What do you guys think, guys? What do you think? What do you think? All right, I'm going to throw up the poll for Seed. Should be interesting. All right. All right, the poll is up. Boom. Come on, Google. Can you just have a way of just AI writing my poll for me real quick? Seeing Child's Play the first time, I kissed a guy with braces. So there's that. Did it hit the teeth? Oh, did the braces just clank the teeth a little bit? Oh, that's always brutal. The Blair Witch remake was a lot better than people said it was. That movie's, I'm trying to remember. I've reviewed that whole franchise. I mean, that whole franchise, 3 movies, but I'm trying to remember the details of that movie. I mean, I feel like, yeah. So the second one is like low budget schlock, but pretty fun. Like the second movie is like so bad that it's okay at times. It's funny. The third movie is actually pretty fun at times. It's not great, but it's pretty fun. I remember there's somebody at the end like crawling through that tunnel to try to get out of the house. That part's pretty claustrophobic and scary, I felt like. But all right, enough. We're talking about the Child's Play franchise here, guys. Thanks again for everybody watching and tuning into the live stream. I haven't done a ton of live streams on my channel, but I'm starting to do them more and more and more. So I'm starting to figure out kind of like what you guys want to see in a live stream format, watch-alongs, videos like this, all that kind of thing. So thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. I know the live streaming kind of community is different sometimes than the people who watch your other videos because it's just a different format. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it very, very much. Appreciate it very, very much. Hope you guys enjoy the live streams, but let's get into it. All right. Seed of Chucky. So yeah, Seed was released, technically 6 years after Bride. So a decent little gap. But once again, they kind of continue the whole Tiffany and Chucky route, right? All of that. And yep, everything you guys love, and I know you love a lot of things in Child's Play 1, 2, and 3, that is long gone in this movie. Long gone. Jamie says, I tried to like Seed, but it was just so ridiculous. My son made me watch. I said that weird, sorry. I tried to watch Seed, but it was just so ridiculous. My son made me watch that too many times. Oh, does your son love it? Mr. Twister says, this is the only one that genuinely, I think, yeah, you meant to say I genuinely, but this is the only one that I genuinely do not like. Hard pass. Bum. Yeah, what a crazy movie. I mean, Glenda, the whole, we're trying to figure out the gender here thing. It's not necessary in this movie. It's just not necessary. This movie, of course, gets very meta. Like, they're making a movie literally about Chucky and Tiffany, which makes sense. Like, they would, if there was a story that blew up, like, in real life about, and a lot of people had this story of this doll that murdered people in specific ways, they would definitely make a movie about that, of course. Like, Hollywood's always looking to bleed every sort of a story they possibly can dry. So I get that, and that part's pretty fun. There's that moment there. It's kind of similar to Bride. They murder the special effects guy, like slice off his head from what I remember, and then blood sprays all over their face, and that turns them on. So they're kind of like that couple. They're leaning into that, the couple that's like into some dark shit. That's how they get riled up. But Darren, what's up, Darren? How's it going, dude? Keep the lives up. I usually watch them after the fact. Nice, man. Yeah, you do a lot of lives. Mr. Sands, man, right there. Make sure you subscribe to Darren's channel right there from TSL, the Slaughtered Lamb podcast. Highly recommend it. He does a lot of live streams, great at doing his live streams. I love his formats, the organization he has. He's got them really organized and well thought out and well planned ahead of time. Darren is way better at planning his live streams ahead of time than I am. I'm horrible at planning them. I mean, I only put this one up last night. So holy shit. Just thanks for being here, guys. I need to be better about that. I promise I will. I'll work on it. But yeah, Mr. Sands, man. Yeah, his live streams are great. Highly recommend checking it out. They should, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby says, do you think Chucky will ever do a crossover with another horror movie like Leprechaun or Freddy? Please. That'd be dope. Hell yeah. I'd love it. Would it be silly and maybe bad? Maybe, but let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. You know, another thing I just thought about doing? So that, yeah, there's still a way. This is off topic. We'll get back to Seed in a moment, but I love my tangents. Another thing I want to do is start playing maybe a little bit more of the Friday the 13th game again. Because you can still play it. There are ways to play it on a private server, apparently. So if I can get that rolling, that'd be fun. Have some laughs on that. Maybe stream that a bit. But anyways, Seed of Chucky. So, yeah, I mean, even Universal they saw Don Mancini's idea for this movie, and they were kind of like, no, man, hard pass. Like, we're not interested. We wanted you to go back to like the horror and the scary stuff, but you know, all this stuff you've got with way too many lines about, you know what I'm talking about and all that jazz, but they're just not interested. But I do think there is a moment where, remember the guy who's like taking pictures through the window? He's like a paparazzi guy. When they murder that guy, he's trying to develop his film. That's a pretty fun scene. It looked like it was practical, like they melt his face. It's pretty fun. But I do think in this movie, they should have made the kills way better because this movie is like pretty ridiculous. But if they could have just held put their hat on one thing, that the kills are solid and over the top and crazier, that would have made the movie better for me, I guess. But I do think this movie does struggle too much, or not, it does struggle in the fact of it focuses way too much on the whole like Jennifer Tilly trying to make it in Hollywood kind of a thing. And I understand it's very similar to, it's got some similarities, some parallels with New Nightmare, I guess, in that way, in the Elm Street franchise, which New Nightmare is definitely way better than this movie. So it's got a little bit of that, but just done worse. I think they focus way too much on that. Obviously, you know, they're throwing in rappers into the mix. That was a big thing during this era, the early 2000s. But Seed is just not a good movie. Shit, guys. It's just not a good movie. Like, there's some stuff in this movie where it just feels like we're watching an SNL skit. It really does. An SNL skit of the Child's Play franchise. Like, it seems like they're just trying to make fun of the Child's Play franchise. And, like, I'm not such a purist in the fact of I need all of my horror movies to be dark and just like the original tone and all of that. No, I totally love when you do all kinds of crazy things, but it's a risk. This is the horror genre, so if you're going to do comedy, you better have a director or somebody else who is actually good at doing comedy. Like, don't get somebody who specializes in scary shit and try to get them to write jokes when they just can't, you know? So, Irish, back again. What's up, Irish? Welcome back. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that, Irish. Thanks for the love. Getting us one super chat closer to our goal for the super chats. Thank you, Irish. Really appreciate that. Very kind of you, dude. Big supporter of the channel. Much love. Thank you, Irish. But yeah, Seed is just not a good movie. I think this movie, it's pretty boring at times. I'm gonna give you guys maybe 5 or 10 more seconds to vote on the poll. So make sure you vote before I end it. But yeah, we need another Leprechaun movie. Absolutely. Speaking of Leprechaun in the chat. The setting is pretty lame. Most of the movie takes place in a house and the last karate scene is always too stupid. I do think I didn't even mention the end of Bride of Chucky. That's pretty fun. The end of Bride at the graveyard. I thought that was pretty fun. Forgot to mention that. But yeah, Seed. All right, let's end the poll. Let's see what you guys thought about Seed. Should be interesting. I'm interested to see what these results are going to be. Thanks, Irish. I appreciate it, brother. All right. Oof. Here we go. Thoughts on Seed of Chucky. 68% of you said don't like it. 32% said, meh, it's fun at times, but not great. And then 0% of you said, I love it. Maybe I should have said it's good instead of I love it with an exclamation point. But yeah, that's right, Twister. These are my people. Twister says 0% love it. These are my people. Hey, you know, I knew I liked you guys. But maybe I'll regret saying that when we start talking about the remake and Curse and Cult. I might regret saying that. Maybe we'll have to break up. I'll have to break up with some of you. That sounds kind of weird, but I'll have to, you know. No. Oh yeah, John Waters. Yeah, you recognize his face right away. He's one of those actors, I couldn't tell you what the hell he's in, but he's been in a bunch of, he's like a character actor or whatever. He's been in a bunch of movies and TV shows because he all right, well, that's enough with Seed. That's enough. So moving right along. Taking a big leap in time to the next movie in the franchise. All 9 years later from 2004 to 2013. So this movie's going to look a lot different. Characters are going to be different. Just everything is basically going to be different than Bride and Seed for the most part. Well, sort of. Of course. Curse of Chucky. We're going to introduce Brad Dourif's daughter into this franchise, which is kind of cool. She does a pretty good job, I think, in this movie, in the 2 movies that she's in. But holy shit, guys. Let me just make this bigger. Look at Chucky. Did we ask for a Chucky that's cross-eyed? There's nothing wrong with being cross-eyed. But what are we doing? It looks horrible. That looks horrible. I mean, it looks creepy, I guess, in a weird way, but that is not good. Anyways, yeah, Curse of Chucky, 2013. Oh, man, yeah, 9 years after Seed, like I said. But, you know, it's weird because the Child's Play franchise is obviously iconic. You go to Spirit Halloween, there's Child's Play stuff everywhere. You go trick-or-treating. This year, we were out trick-or-treating. I saw kids dressed up as Chucky. Not a ton, but a few. It's an iconic franchise. Why are we just like, yeah, we'll just pump out this straight-to-video, lowish budget slasher movie that's, you know, a studio didn't really want to invest in, whatever. It's like, why don't we just put it on the shelf and just wait? Wait until the time is right to make a great movie. I mean, I get it, whatever, you know, they wanted to make some money, they wanted to keep it going, they wanted to, you know, maybe they thought their idea was amazing, and I know there are fans of Curse, there are, and, you know, I can kind of understand it, but this movie is very isolated, you know, this movie takes place pretty much 95% just in this Victorian house. We're following Nika, and the whole backstory with this movie essentially is, so in Bride of Chucky, it was like, okay, let's go into the story of Charles Lee Ray's lover and their complication and their journey. Let's go into that. Now, let's dig into this new story we've came up with that it's Charles Lee Ray was a family friend of this family and was in love with Nika's mom. And it was not reciprocated because he's a weird fuck. And then, so he murders Nika's dad and then kidnaps her mom because that'll work. And her mom's pregnant with Nika. And then he's got her down in the basement. He stabs her in the stomach, which paralyzes Nika, which dumb trope. I'll talk about that more in a minute. And then the cops show up, and that kicks off the shootout in the first movie. So we get a little bit of prequel stuff in this, which is, at face value, that's an angle of the story that I think could be explored in a better movie, like the prequel to how did he get into the shootout? What happened with his murders? You know, how did he become this infamous serial killer, the Lakeshore Strangler? But not in this movie. This house is okay, you know. Like I said, I think Chucky in this movie looks like some middle-aged older woman that had way too much plastic surgery. Like when he's in the doll form, it's just like he can't emote at all because it's just, you know, he's had way too crazy of a facelift, I feel like, in this movie. But I mean, yeah, I mean, there is a point where Chucky kind of like peels off the skin and reveals the stitches, which brings in some continuity from Bride and other movies. So that's cool, but I do think the character looks better in that moment, so that's good. Oh, I forgot to put up the poll. I'll put up a poll real quick. Hold on. All right. All right. Curse of Chucky. Let me put up the poll real quick, guys. All right. Thoughts on Curse of Chucky? Good. I'm going to say good, meh, and bad for Curse. I'm just going to do that. Thoughts on Curse of Chucky? Good, meh, and bad. Boom. Poll started. All right. Make sure you guys vote. No, it's not even just the patches. It's just a weird. And I think I've only watched the uncut versions of Cult and Curse. So I mean, there's a lot of blood in Cult, but you know, there's some blood and guts and gore in Curse as well. But yeah, back on topic. Let's see. I do think with that whole flashback, I was kind of mentioning that a second ago with the backstory of this movie. They give us that flashback. Clunky as hell with the flashback with Curse. Like Charles Lee Ray, they de-age him a little bit, like put a little like TikTok filter on his face, and then in some scenes he just doesn't even have it at all. It's weird. He obviously looks like an older man. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So that part's obviously low budget and weird. And this movie is, you know, it's very isolated. But we get some moments, like the whole thought process, from all the research that I've done, the whole thought process behind this movie was, all right, we're going to try to go back to the horror elements that this franchise originally started with. Let's make it scary. Let's make it dark. Let's make it eerie. Let's add some atmosphere. But they just don't. I feel like in this movie, like we get scenes like the whole like chili dinner scene with Nika's sister and her family, and Chucky puts the rat poison into the chili. And we get scenes like that where, you know, it's just so corny. The dad does stuff like, oh my God, wait, hold on. Oh my God, I forgot to make a toast, guys. And then he almost like starts choking. He's like, oh my God, holy shit. This chili's really good. You know, stuff like that. And you're just like, oh God, this is cringe. I mean, there's the hot nanny. She gets killed by Chucky with the water electrocution. Like Chucky just basically pours water on the floor, and there's sockets on the floor, and she's like working on her laptop, which I think is plugged into the socket, and that electrocutes her and like makes her eyeball like pop out of her head, kind of. You know, pretty dumb. Not a good kill. Not really believable. It's not horrible, but what do you guys think? What's your favorite kill in this movie? My favorite kill in this movie, it's not a great kill, but it's a great one-liner. The best one-liner in this movie is when Chucky is up in the attic. He's with Nika's sister. Don't remember her name because there's no reason to. He's with her and he's got her kind of pinned, and she's like, holy shit, this doll really is alive. And Chucky is like, you know what? You look a lot like your mother. And your eyes are just like her. They're too fucking close together. And then he stabs her in the eye with a knife. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I feel like this movie, I'll talk about this a little bit more when it comes to Cult, but no shade if you love this movie, but I don't really like the way this movie looks. It just doesn't have any of that grit that the original 3 movies have. And I get those movies were from the late 80s and the 90s, so it's a different film, it's a different type of technique. It's not as digital, but still I just don't like the way these movies look. I really don't. This movie, but we'll talk more about Cult, like I said, in just a minute, but I just don't like it. And I feel like mostly Curse just feels poorly made. I think the acting is bad. I think this is just one of those movies that's like, why are we just pumping out a Child's Play movie just to pump one out? This low budget schlock. Come on, now. But anyways, you think it's too much emphasis on the characters' backstories? And the angle of Nika's family and her sister wants her to sell this house because her husband lost their job and now he's working at Starbucks and all of that. I just don't care. I just don't care at all. I really just don't care. But you feel like, Darren, you feel like it's crazy that Cult fell out so short of Curse? You feel like Curse is way better than Cult, huh? Curse was the few Child's Plays that was pure horror and not a horror comedy mix. We get a little bit of, like I said, there are some one-liners from Chucky in this movie, but it's not a lot at all. It's nothing great by any means. There's also that moment when Nika is down at the bottom of the stairs and Chucky is like walking down the stairs. You guys remember that moment? It looks like a 1990s cartoon. It is so bad. The CGI is horrible. It looks like an episode of Rugrats. But anyways, and again, this whole angle we're going with, okay, our main character is going to be in a wheelchair. We know where you're going with that, which they do in the second movie. It's just a cheap way to make your character vulnerable and try to make us empathize with your character, try to make your character unique, I guess, but it's just a cheap gimmick. Giving them a limp, giving them some sort of a disability, giving them a hearing problem, whatever have you. It's not pulled off well. I mean, in franchises like A Quiet Place, where you have a character who's deaf, I think that character is genuinely actually deaf, first of all. Second of all, sign language is like, that's legit to make people learn sign language. That's a lot of work, so it doesn't feel as cheap. Plus, in those movies, that disability is put in the movie to clearly make you empathize and make you care about those characters and whatever have you. But it's done very well. Whereas this, it's just not, in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Curse. I'm not. I don't like this movie. I really don't. I just don't think it does anything very well. I don't think it's scary. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's, like I said, they were trying to make a scary movie, but they ended up making a campy movie. They should have just leaned into that. And in the horror genre, you guys know, like, we love campy horror movies that are low budget, but recognize that and lean into that. They don't. So, dun 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 dun. But hey, if you like this movie, and I know some people do, then that's cool. All right, get your votes in. I'm gonna end the vote. That's enough with Curse. We'll get into Cult next. That's enough with that. Let me know. Also, guys, yeah, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. I think liking the live stream is important for the stream, I guess. So if you're enjoying the live stream, like it. Leave a like. While I don't love Curse, if you compare it to Seed, it's a masterpiece. Oh, man. I kind of like Seed better, though, even though Seed is pretty bad. I can watch Curse, and it doesn't feel like I've wasted my finite amount of time on this earth with it like Seed. I get it. I get it, man. I get it. I mean, I feel like Seed and Curse are just not good. Not good. The lack of Tiffany is the worst thing about this one. Yeah, well, we don't. I'm trying to think of like the post-credit scene. Do we see Tiffany in the post-credit scene? No, I don't think so. Just Andy, right? Just Andy in the post-credit scene with the delivery and Chucky, and then he shoots him in the face. But I get it. I get it. Yeah, that's right. Andy. So, all right, let's end the poll. Here we go. What'd you think? I'm interested to see what we think about Curse. This is going to be an interesting one. Ooh. Ooh, it is interesting. Really? Wow. All right, I said thoughts on Curse of Chucky. 53% said meh. 41% said Curse of Chucky is good. 6% said it was bad. Man, I'm an outlier. Sorry guys, I would have to be in the bad category. Yeah, I don't think this movie is good. I really don't. And I've only seen the unrated. And I just don't think it. Tiffany mails the doll in the mid-credit scene. Oh, okay. So a little Tiffany. I don't think this movie's good. I really don't. But anyways, all right, moving right along from Curse, moving on to Cult of Chucky, which of course gets its name because Chucky is now, there's a lot of Chuckies in this movie. So if you're a fan of Chucky, you're just going to get more Chuckies, I guess, obviously. So there's something to be said about that. But all right, let me throw up the poll there. That was an interesting poll, man. I'm actually kind of surprised by that poll. But all right, next poll coming up. Make sure you vote on Cult of Chucky. Good. Meh. Bad. All right, thoughts on Cult of Chucky. Good, meh, bad. All right, poll started. Here we go. Go ahead and vote. Make sure you guys vote. Saving my bad votes for the TV series. We're not going to talk about the TV series because I have never seen it. So just a heads up. Yeah, so Cult, you know? Yeah, we got a little tease and curse about Andy. So we go back to Andy Barclay's return. You know, his first time returning to the franchise since 1990. And obviously he's not a kid anymore. So we start off in this movie, you know, Andy's like at dinner. We get a little glimpse into what's life been like for him. It's obviously been tough. You know, he was in the news a lot as a kid about the whole Chucky thing and all of that. You know, he's at dinner with some chick and she's like, you know what? This is over. You're kind of weird. I Googled you and it's not good. And Andy, you're not really doing yourself a favor because he has like a shrine in his family room with like AK-47s and stuff. So it's like people are probably going to come over and be like, dude, what are you so worried about? Are you preparing for the apocalypse or something? Like, I get it if you have a gun safe with some stuff, but why do you have a shrine of assault rifles next to your dining room table? Colt is like a fever dream. It kind of is. Yeah. It kind of is. You would expect at the end of this movie, like Andy to just wake up and be like, holy shit, that was a weird dream. Or Andy or Karen. You'd have Karen just wake up in like a mental hospital, shocked by everything that just transpired. I love how Andy and Kyle kill the doll with the burnt hand in the Chucky series, Pulp Fiction style. That's what Mudo says. Monty says, Colt feels like Mancini used AI to help the story. Gordon says, Colt is down there with Seed. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so Andy has like this mutilated head of Chucky in his safe that can still talk. It has like a hole in its head, but yet can still feel pain, but kind of doesn't feel pain. It's weird. That part's weird. It's not really fleshed out very well. I like asylum settings too, Mudo. I do, but I just don't think this one is done well at all. You know, hospitals or asylums or jails, they need to be scary. Let's talk about it now. Let's just rip off the Band-Aid. Yeah, Freddy vs. Jason, though, it's way better. Way better. Way better. Yeah, but like I said, let's just rip off the Band-Aid with the setting for this movie now that we're on topic for Colt. I think the setting and the way really just the way this movie looks, I hate the way this movie looks. And I know it sounds cliche, but this is the type of movie, it just looks way too modern. Way too squeaky clean, way too digital, way too perfect. You know, it really does. And where this franchise really excels is when this movie is like, it's lit a little darker, a little grittier and grimier. And even if you're going to make a comedy like Bride, I mean, you can make a comedy, but make it a little, just the way it looks, darker. Make the cinematography just different. I hate the way this movie looks. I absolutely hate it, man. I really, really do. And yeah, we so at this point, at the end of Curse, Nika, of course, was a dumbass, and like the cop shows up and she's still holding this bloody ass knife at the end of Curse, and the cop's like, "What is going on here? There's all these dead people, and you're holding the knife. Obviously, you're guilty. Plus, your story is that this doll came alive and killed everybody. That doesn't make any sense. So you're dead, or you're guilty. We're gonna toss you in a hospital." So she's been in a hospital, jail hospital thing. And then in this movie, though, she gets transferred to a medium security place, I guess. And it's like, holy shit, guys. Come on. The whole angle of, oh, hey, we're in a medium security prison, and no, we don't do cameras here. No, not something we do. We don't put cameras in the rooms or anything like that. Nah. Come on. It's just a cheap way to, maybe that's a real thing. I don't know. I've never been in one. But I feel like it's just a cheap way to let Chucky and all of the other Chuckies just walk around this place and slaughter people without anyone giving two shits or knowing about it. And I also love how guards and other people that work here are getting murdered and disappearing. Where's the rest of the help? Where nobody notices nothing, patients are being massacred. Nobody cares. We're not sending in extra help. We're not heightening the level of security. Nothing. What's up, Ravishing? How's it going, dude? But the setting is wasted, honestly. Somehow it seems the movie has the right ingredients, but failed so hard. Yeah, I agree, Monty. The idea of having, exploring more of the voodoo angle. Chucky is getting more dolls and is putting an evil soul into more dolls. Yeah, that angle doesn't really, I don't love that angle, but okay, we'll just take it there. And then having all of that set in a mental hospital, medium security prison with some people that are kind of dangerous and obviously not there mentally, that could work, but it doesn't in this movie. Yeah, like you said, wasted opportunity. I'd rather watch Rob Zombie's H2 over just about anything. Just about anything in this franchise or just about anything in the genre, Jamie? I like Rob Zombie's Halloween, both of them. So, hey, I mean, dude, I just picked this up finally. Speaking of, thank you for reminding me, Jamie. Oh, I just picked this bad boy up from Trick or Treat. Oh, man. This has not been rehauled or anything. The Dream Mask from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. That thing, it probably doesn't really look all that great with this bright light on it. It needs to be, lit maybe from overhead with some dark, creepy lighting. So that doesn't do it justice, probably. But I promise you, in real life, this thing looks great. Especially for being straight off the shelf. No rehaul. It looks good. Jamie, I'm with you. I really enjoy both of those movies. I could watch them right now and have a great time. I really like them. Yeah. So, hey, I'm with you. But anyways, that's a tangent. The doctor being a creep. He's a bad actor, that doctor. He's the psychologist. And it's not that's not a new thing in the genre or that's not a new thing in the genre or in real life. Like doctors, taking advantage of their patients and just banging them. Because we all know that crazy girls are the best in bed. That's how the saying goes, right? But yeah, I felt like that psychologist was dumb. Not a good actor. Not explored very well. But I mean, he gets, if I remember correctly, he dies because Nika stomps his head out with her heel. Which, of course, it happens after Nika gets out of the wheelchair. Chucky puts his soul into Nika. And Nika now all of a sudden is talking like she's a New Jersey, like some dude from New Jersey who's in the mafia. She's like, yo, I'm slow talking. I'm from the Jersey. I'm here to fucking get my money, all right? I'll break your kneecaps. So that part at the end of the movie, I don't know. I mean, it's cool that we have Tiffany, but That part's dumb. I don't think she does great there. But yeah, the psychologist angle. I also think in this movie we spend too much time with the other patients who are clearly bad actors. It just doesn't make the movie better. There's moments where, I mean, we have to follow that lady who thinks that Chucky is her baby for a big chunk. What are we doing here? Just let Chucky kill her and let's move on. Shades of Nightmare 3. Yeah, I mean they also do that in, I think, Leatherface too. A lot of movies. Yeah. What? You get that actor isn't that actor, the guy that plays the psychologist, doctor, whatever in Cult is in the TV series? Who made the TV series? Do they not like good stuff? Are they just like, what? Here's the good things from the Chucky franchise. Here's the maybe not so good things / possibly we could say shitty things in the franchise. Good, shitty. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's do shitty and let's put them in the show. It's going to be great, guys. It's going to be great. I mean, I get the budget probably wasn't there, but he plays a different character. Well, he's dead, so yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, the suspension of disbelief in this movie. Yeah, you really have to have a crazy sense. Did I make a poll for this? Fuck, I think I did. Yeah. But Davey, what up, Davey? Hope you're doing well, man. But yeah, I mean, like I said, of course they're gonna make Nika come out of the wheelchair. We all knew that was gonna happen ever since, we first got introduced to this character in Curse. And, having all these different Chuckies is kind of fun. I don't love it though, because just the whole angle of a serial killer is about to die. So he's like, shit, my only choice is to put my soul into this thing that's next to me, which is a good guy doll. And I'm going to do that. Now my soul is in there. Having like all these different, an unlimited amount of Charles Lee Ray souls that can go into anything. It's kind of dumb. But with that said, this movie is bloody as hell. And I did watch the unrated, uncut, whatever you want to say. And it's bloody as hell. So there's something to be said about that. And they did a lot of the kills practical. At one point, I think one of the hospital workers gets like a screwdriver, like a screw, basically through the back of his head and out his eye. Pretty fun. But bloody as hell. I mean, they recreate the glass falling down, like from Bride of Chucky, the glass, and then it just like cuts that woman to shreds. I mean, that's okay, whatever. But not a great movie. So, anyways, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. That is, yeah, guys. I mean, that is Curse of Chucky, or Cult of Chucky. I like Cult better than Curse, personally, because the practical effects, I think they went for it with a lot of the kills. I respect that. We get a little bit more Tiffany in this movie. I like the setting better at this hospital, prison place. Like I said, hate the way this movie looks. They could have done so much better with this setting and this idea and the concept. The acting is horrendously bad in this movie. And overall, it's not a good horror movie. It's a movie that every time I have to go back and rewatch it for you guys to do a video on it, I kind of dread it, but it is what it is. So, all right, I'm going to end the poll in about 10 seconds. Let me catch up with chat. So make sure you guys vote if you have not voted on Cult of Chucky. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. What did I miss? The Extra Dolls set up Chucky series, like I mentioned, with Andy and Kyle hunting them. Okay. Jabroni says, to me, it's Curse is better than Cult, but neither movie's good. Yeah, we're kind of splitting shitty hairs at that point, right? The Various Dolls was supposed to be like the plot for the third movie when Chucky's blood was spilled into that rubber vat from the factory. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but like, yeah, it could have just been done so much better. And yeah, it's cool seeing Andy back, but he's not a great actor. I did like that moment though, when that kind of surprise when he planted the gun inside of the Chucky's belly. Because when he's fighting that thing, you're like, what is he doing? Is he trying to rip his heart out like Jason Voorhees or something? But and then he pulls out a gun. That's kind of fun. Yeah, Andy heavily underutilized. Yeah, not a great movie. All right, let's end the poll. What did you say? I'm excited. All right, thoughts on Cold of Chucky. You all said, ooh, we have a tie. Okay, you guys said 42% of you said it was meh. 42% of you said it was bad. And 16% of you said it was good. All right, well, an army of Chuckies now that I can get on board with. That sounds awesome. Yeah, if it's done in the right way, hell yeah. Anyone else watching some Child's Play flicks after this live stream? Ooh, do it, Mudo. Do it. Do it. I got you in the mood. Got you in the Child's Play itch. But anyways, I didn't love the look of Chucky either in the movie. But anyways, wow. Moving on to the most recent movie in this franchise. Unfortunately, we need more. We really do need a new Child's Play movie, something that's damn good and scary. But here we go, Child's Play 2019. I'll put up the poll here in a second. But what do you all think about the remake? Which, like I said earlier, was supposed to come out in 2010, but Brad Dourif said he did not want to voice act the character again. I don't know if he's going to do it again later. He probably will. Just give him some money and he'll do it. Give him a good amount of money. But, and then the movie just basically went into development hell. And then eventually, obviously, came out in 2019 with a different concept, a different idea. Mark Hamill voice acting the character, which, yeah, I mean, whatever. Mark Hamill, he's always going to be a legend for Luke Skywalker, but not great voice acting this character. It is kind of creepy, but yeah, I'll take it or leave it, whatever. Not great. But anyways, let me put up the poll real quick, guys, and then we will get more into it. All right, poll is going up. Good, bad, good, meh, and bad. Oof, the Child's Play remake. There's the poll. There it is. Man, I knew these polls were going to get frisky for the last 3 movies, and I like it. I knew they were going to get a little spicy. But, so, I mean, if you've been around my channel for a minute, you know that I'm a fan of remakes. There's a lot of remakes that I do really enjoy. I actually really enjoy a lot of stuff in the Elm Street remake. I really do. Sue me. Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 from 2007. I enjoy that movie. A damn good portrayal of Tyler Mane. Friday the 13th remake, sort of, encapsulation of the first 4 movies in that franchise from 2009. One of the best movies in the Friday the 13th franchise. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Brilliant. What a great slasher movie. Texas Chainsaw movie. My favorite Texas Chainsaw movie in the franchise. But what do those movies do well? They are remakes, like I said. They take the main antagonist, Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and they add something unique to the character that is uniquely good in its own way. Like the Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw remake from 2003, Andrew Brzezinski, a wrestler, big ass, menacing, buzzsaw type of a character, brutally murdering anybody in his way. He's fast. He's brutal, and he will fuck you up. A great portrayal of Leatherface, just a hell of a lot of fun. Very similar to Tyler Mane and the other characters that I just mentioned, the bigger, massive, crazy, but it's just different. It's not like I'm going to sit here and say, like Tyler Mane's portrayal of Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's movies is way better than the original movie or, Dick Warlock's portrayal or whatever have you. No, they're just really fun in their own way. Whereas in the Child's Play remake, it's not. It's just not. It's not uniquely, the character of Chucky, this remake version, it's not uniquely fun in its own way. Mark Hamill is okay, I guess, voice acting the character, but there's no wittiness at all. There's some brutality, I guess, but the concept behind Chucky in the remake is it's a guy who works in the factory, like in Vietnam or wherever, Singapore or wherever it was, I don't remember. He's an assembly line worker who hates his job and hates his life, so he takes off all of the safety protocols on this doll, and it ends up, unfortunately, landing in the house of Andy. And then this guy kills himself. He jumps off of a building, and in that. But it's just like, again, I hate the way this movie looks. It's too squeaky clean. It's too digital. This movie, and I get this movie was early in the whole AI doll modern era of movies like Megan and Afraid and, just Blumhouse's Fiesta of all that shit. But that is an era of a subgenre in horror that I feel like, for me, I wish would just go away. No, don't get resurrected ever. Just go away. And I'm not talking, again, I mentioned this in my video covering this, but well, that video is actually it hasn't came out yet. I'm going to probably release that video tomorrow. But what was I saying? Yeah, I wish they would just go away. I'm not referring to movies like Terminator, like that concept of technology gone wrong, AI, advanced technology, robots, whatever have you. Of course, the original Terminator, I've got the 4K right there, is one of the greatest sci-fi horror movies ever made. An all-time classic. But this new era of Megan and Afraid and Companion and those movies, I don't need, for me personally, this is just me, of course, this is my, I'm talking about it. If you love it, that's cool. But I just don't need it. It doesn't even need to exist in the genre. I would be, like, if it never happened, I think the genre would be better for it. I think it's a shitty era for horror. And this movie fits into that era, I feel like. It's just like, it's not the worst. This is not the worst slasher movie ever made, but I don't like this movie at all. I really don't. It's just not fun. I think the score is not good in this movie either. If you go back and watch this movie and you listen to the music closely, you'll notice that, like, this is weird. It kind of is. Am I watching a Hallmark movie right now? Why is it so airy and so uplifting and so magical and fantasy like? It just doesn't work for me. It's not good. The acting is okay. I mean, Andy's mom, the guy that she's dating, shitty actor, but does get brutally massacred in a pretty fun way. Chucky pulls the ladder out from him. He's cheating on his wife. He's got a family at home, and he gets a compound fracture with both of his legs, which is pretty fun. And then, this is for Tupac. Gets his head caught up in, I don't know if that's like an aerator or something to kind of dig up the ground for your garden, but gets brutally massacred. Pretty fun. And, they make him to be like a sort of fun villain in this movie, so that's kind of fun as well. But, the end of this movie, it's just like, okay. I know it's technology, so this thing can kind of, it's almost like cult. It can kind of recruit the other technologies that are made by this same company and kind of embed itself into their infrastructure and software and their database and control them. So you've got drones all over the place in this store. It's kind of like, I think this place is called like Zedmart or something. I can't remember, but it's kind of like the Evil Dead franchise. But anyways, things are flying all over the place and people are getting killed and whatever, but it's just dumb. It's just not even good. It's really not even good. Everything is so cliche and everything is so, and we're once again back in a city urban environment, but I just don't think they capitalize on that at all. Like I said about the other remakes that I just mentioned, they're in a totally different era. Rob Zombie's movies, the Friday the 13th movies, etc., etc. a totally different era. So, of course, they're not going to be able to really capture that 80s aesthetic and feel, but they still were able to capture something great in their era. You know, they were able to encapsulate the greatness of the early 2000s or the mid 2010s or whatever have you, which this movie just doesn't do. 2019. Yeah, I mean, it's just not a great movie. What else is there to be said about this? I mean, what do you guys think? I want to hear from you in the comments. I mean, I kind of rambled on there for a while about this movie, but let's see. Let's catch up with the chat here. I mean, and the whole concept of AI and robots taking over things can be done very well and very scary and very relatable. Of course, I'm not saying we should get rid of that in particular. I'm just referring to this whole like have a friend for life doll thing, like Megan and this shit. It's just dumb. I get it makes money, but it's dumb. For me. I'm not 12, I'm 39, so I think it's dumb. I actually like the Thing remake or the Thing prequel. I'm trying to catch up with chat here, see what you guys think. Make sure you vote too. Again, make sure you vote. Man, the remake, wow. I mean, yeah, technically, John Carpenter's The Thing is a remake. Arguably the greatest remake ever, of course. Companion script was terrible. That's what Kiki said. Man, Companion. What a crazy movie. A lot of people really loved Companion. And I assume those people never saw the poster or never saw anything else because they revealed the biggest plot twist in the entire movie on the poster. But anyways, Davey says, it's literally the flip the switch to evil joke from The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. It's such a dumb explanation. Terrible intro. I have not seen that episode, but Muto, okay, all right, Muto, I respect it. You also enjoy Rob Zombie's Halloween. Oh, Dawn of the Dead, yeah, of course. Stupendous Friday the 13th. Oh yeah, stupendous. Oh, so juicy. So juicy. Perfect nipple placement. Davey said, this movie took me multiple attempts to get through. Should have been called something else. Doesn't feel like Child's Play. Am I supposed to sympathize with Chucky? Who am I supposed to like here? Yeah, I know. And they did the whole thing again where they give the kid a hearing aid. Andy, here's a hearing aid, man, to make, and he's in a broken home. He's been moved to a new area. They do all the typical like tropey things to force us to empathize with his character. Let's see. Jabroni says, this is by far the worst movie in the franchise to me. At least the other bad movies have Brad in them. Yeah, exactly. Jamie said, I accidentally bought this movie from Walmart $5 bin. Whoops. Thinking it was the OG. Oh, that would have been a damn good purchase too. Like a $5 Blu-ray of the 1988. When I finally watched it, I was pleasantly surprised at how much I liked it. Hey, that's cool. Like if you guys enjoy it, like no shade. I mean, I talk about these movies sometimes passionately, but it does not mean I disrespect your opinion. Speaking of a bad remake though, is the Fog remake. That's a horrible remake as far as remakes go. Yeah, you could argue the Friday the 13th remake had the best Jason. Yeah, absolutely. But if Child's Play does a crossover with another franchise, what franchise would you pick? It's a great question. How long have we been going now? Damn, we've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes? That was unexpected. But Cake Boy, hey, appreciate it. Glad you're enjoying the videos. Thanks for the love. Man, a crossover with the Child's Play franchise? I mean, everyone has mentioned Leprechaun, obviously. But I think it would just be... I don't want to see this movie, but wouldn't it be hilarious just to see Brad Dourif and Chucky like laugh at Megan and just like massacre the character of Megan in a movie? But anyways, I don't want that movie. I hope yeah, Jamie, I hope you never buy that by mistake either. That would suck. But man, a crossover, that would be a lot of fun. I mean, we already mentioned Candyman because of the similar setting and all of that. I don't know. What do you guys think? What would be a good crossover with the Child's Play franchise if they did one? I mean, I don't think they will, but anytime soon. Maybe someday. But yeah, Child's Play remake, just not good. All right, I'll give you guys like 10 more seconds to vote. Ooh, my birthday is soon? Yes, it is soon. The end of December is my birthday. Yep, December 28th is my birthday. So if you want to get me something for my birthday, you know, go ahead. Go right ahead. We do need another Leprechaun movie, though. Like, we really do. Like, you know, just like maybe like a $10 million budget. A decent director. Let's do it. Make it brutal. Like, scary. With some humor, of course. Candyman and Hellraiser would be a good crossover. Yeah. But, oops, that was probably really loud. I'm sorry. I got a little excited there with the clapping. My bad. Blew out some eardrums. You know what I mean? But, yes. Yeah. All right. Let's end the poll. I'm interested. I'm really interested. I might have to ban some people after this poll. Ooh, okay. Thoughts on the Child's Play remake? 45% of you said it was bad. 32% of you said it was good. I feel like the people who said it was good are hiding. You're hiding in the I mean, Jamie said it was good, but I feel like you're kind of hiding because I haven't seen too many of those comments. Don't be nervous. So 32% said it was good, surprisingly. 23% said it was meh. Okay. All right. What's up, Bobby? There should be another low-budget, cheesy Leprechaun movie like the first one. You don't need a big budget or anything, just silly acting. I mean, damn, isn't it crazy to think that, what's her name from Friends was in the first movie? Oh, Jennifer Aniston. Crazy to think that Jennifer Aniston was in the first movie. The Horror Stream Live. What's up, Horror Stream? How's it going? Welcome in. Burrito thought it was good. Cool. I respect it. Yeah, not a huge budget, but maybe a budget along the lines of like Halloween 2018, or maybe even a little shade lower. You know, because Halloween 2018, it's crazy to think that movie actually had a pretty small budget, especially in comparison to, I feel like they stretched that budget pretty damn well. 10 million was the budget for Halloween 2018. It made 260 million. And my reason for saying a $10 million budget is because you don't have to I don't want the movie to look like this massive blockbuster, but I do want some investment into the practical effects and things like that, you know? I want that. So, but thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in to the stream. We'll end here in just a second. So the Child's Play remake, it looks like the consensus from the voting, at least from the majority of you people, 45% said it was bad. I also would vote bad on the Child's Play remake. Yes, but yep, this is the rise and fall of the entire Child's Play franchise from 1988 to 2019. What a wild ride. The first three movies, so damn good. And the last three, not so much for me personally. But what a wild ride. I really do hope we get a Child's Play movie again in the near future. But going back to the grittiness and the brutality, bringing back Brad Dourif, just back that Brinks truck up to Brad Dourif. Give him money, you know, whatever he wants. Just do it, dude. Just do it. But what a crazy franchise. If you're watching live, thank you so much for being here. Seriously, really appreciate it. Always great to talk horror with you guys. More live streams coming very, very soon. Make sure you subscribe if you've not. Check out the membership perks and things like that. Like I said, again, up here. It's a lofty goal, but someday when we hit 100 members on this channel, I will be doing a 6-hour at least Dr. Loomis cosplay stream, bald head and all. just going crazy, you know, giveaways, all kinds of crazy stuff. But also when we hit 50 members on the channel, I'm going to give away a Halloween 2 popcorn bucket, the same as this one. I have another one, and then I'll throw in some stickers and stuff too, and whatever. What is my camera? Is my camera okay? I see a weird thing on my camera. What is that? I've never seen that before. That's weird. But anyways, yeah, at 50 members, I will be giving away one of these to the members, to the people who are supporting the channel through memberships, which is very much appreciated. More perks for members coming soon. Members get access to a ton of live streams that are on the channel that are only for members. Some gaming live streams as well, stuff like that. More stuff coming soon. Same. A lot of things coming very soon also for patrons. Thank you for the support, but always, of course, never required to support the channel in that type of a way. Never required. So is the music still rolling? No, the music's gone. All right, hold on. Boom. There we go. That track was done. The stream went way longer than I expected. Like I was like, maybe I'll go like an hour and a half. No, we went 2 hours and 20 minutes. Just me rambling, talking my ass off about a pretty cool franchise. Not my favorite franchise again in the genre, but still a pretty good, cool franchise nonetheless. But again, guys, thanks for being here. Let me catch up with chat before we head out. You're gonna shave your head. Get the heck out of here. No. I'm not gonna shave my head, but I'm gonna do the bald head thing. I'm gonna put a fake prosthetic. No. Could you imagine? I think my forehead's too big. My hairline is not as young as it used to be able to pull off a bald look, you know? I don't want to blind you guys with too much forehead or something, but thanks, Jamie. I appreciate it. What slasher franchise do you think would benefit the most from having a big budget? A big budget. That's a good question. Not really like Friday the 13th or Halloween or anything like that. I'm trying to think of oh, you did say slasher. That's a great idea that you added slasher, because immediately I was thinking of like Alien, Predator, like those big, massive horror adjacent type, Terminator. Damn. You might get banned, Darren, if you don't act. I took like 2 hours out of my day to watch this entire live stream. Hopefully I'm not getting banned. I don't know if you're getting banned or not. No idea. Ooh, what slasher franchise would benefit from a big budget? Well, I do think, hopefully that for the next Thanksgiving movie, they have a little bit of a bigger budget with better actors. Man, what would it be from a bigger budget? Sometimes in slasher movies, when you have a bigger budget, it makes the movie worse. No, there's nothing wrong with bald. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't think I could pull off the bald. Some people look great bald. Look at Jason Statham. Like Jason Statham, he's rocking that, dude. Hell yeah. And plus, it's low maintenance. Being bald, you know? Hell yeah. Nothing wrong with being bald. Yeah, that's, I would agree. I think out of the, especially out of the big horror franchises, I think A Nightmare on Elm Street would probably benefit the most. And my reason for saying that is because, first of all, we need a new modern Elm Street movie. Because with technology, the stuff that we could potentially pull off in those dream sequences would be badass. Badass. So I think having a bigger budget Elm Street movie would be amazing. Because like I said, we could really lean into the practical effects, really lean into the dream sequences, building some big set pieces that are practical with some crazy, film work to pull off some of those dream sequences. And if you have a big budget, you could do that and do a lot of it practically, blow some shit up, create, like I said, make sets from scratch for dream sequences for Elm Street, which I think would be amazing. That would be fun. What's up, Lars? What's up, Felix? Which remake is your favorite? Elm Street? Damn, I was about to give you some respect. How about Hellraiser? I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but you know, Hellraiser, yeah, you could do a lot with Hellraiser with a big budget. But woo, yeah, make sure you guys subscribe, look into the memberships if you care about that kind of thing. But thank you so much for sitting around talking about the rise and fall of the entire Child's Play franchise with me. It's a lot of fun. I'm gonna need a cough drop after this. My voice is cooked, but all worth it in the end. Make sure you like the stream. Again, subscribe if you're new around here. Thanks so much for watching. More content coming very, very soon. And because you guys are here in the live stream, I always like to do this with people who tune into the live stream. You get to hear about what's coming next on the channel. So I'm currently in the process of watching Halloween Aftermath, the fan film. Might review that. I definitely, without a doubt, have 2 more Child's Play videos coming. Definitely. One of them is probably going to be a ranking of the entire franchise, and then the other one is probably going to also be a tier list of which Chuckies I think are the scariest in the franchise. It'll probably have a special guest as well on that one. So it should be a lot of fun. That'll be a little bit of a surprise. Great content creator who will be a special guest on that video. But anyways, yeah, that's it, everybody. Go follow my Twitch stream as well. Twitch.tv/6max, SIXMACS. But thanks so much for watching, everybody. Appreciate the hell out of you. Love your faces. You guys are the best. Thank you for the support. Really means a lot. Really humbling that anybody is willing to is enjoying watching stuff that I make. Talking about something I really enjoy, which is movies and horror content. So more fun stuff coming very soon. Gordon, Dominic, Jamie, Mudo, I'm Just Better, Lars, Felix, Monty, everybody else out there. Thanks for being a part of this whole thing. Really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you all in the next one.